Can you all see the image of Srila Prabhupada?
Yes, Mataji.
Kayan Prabhuji, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Mataji.
Okay, what we are going to do is we are going to revise because you could not attend couple of classes. Okay, so we'll do a quick walkthrough before we move ahead with the next topic. All right, because I could not process the recordings also, and it will be a revision. Even Sadhya, you also could not join. Okay, so we are going to revise. All right, so all of you, please unmute and say Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Okay, can you all see the screen?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Okay, Ganesh Prabhuji, you have joined. Did I hear Ganesh's voice? No. Kayan Prabhuji. All right. Okay. We are going to revise the concepts that we covered in last 2-3 classes. All right. So, first, very, very important point here is that everyone is looking for happiness. And we all agreed, we had discussion on this and we all agreed to this point that everyone, every entity is looking for happiness, right? We understood it with the help of certain examples like plant. If a plant is placed in darkness, it will bend towards the light, right? Or if there is a animal, say dog or a cat, it is sitting in scorching heat, so it will run from that place and look for the shade. And similarly, human beings, we are also looking for happiness, right? If there is a situation which is not comfortable, which does not give us happiness, so we want to get rid of that situation. So the goal of every living entity is happiness. Okay. And what is real happiness? Real happiness is permanent happiness. The happiness that we are experiencing here, is it real happiness? Are we really happy? Okay. So we had discussion on this also when we talked about happiness, comforts, and enjoyment. What are comforts? Comfort means when you are devising certain means to free yourself from some adverse conditions which are not giving you happiness. For example, you feel hot, then you use an air conditioner. And when it is cold, then you use a heater, right? But if I tell you to use this air conditioner throughout in winters also, would you use it? No, you would not use it, right? Why? Because the same air conditioner which was giving you happiness in summers is now giving you distress in winters, right? Another example, you like some food item, okay? You can take any example. It could be a, pizza, burger, or a French fries, or pasta, whatever. Now you feel very happy about it, okay, when you get a chance to eat it. Now I tell you that, see, you like this, pasta or this French fries a lot. So better, you eat 10 plates of this food. Would you be able to do that? You won't be able to do that. Why? Because everything here in this world is conditional. Okay? Everything is conditional here. That is why, the living entities, technically, if we strictly talk in terms of spiritual technical definition, we say that the living beings here are conditioned souls. Okay? Conditioned souls. That means a condition has been imposed upon us. Within the boundaries of that condition only, you can enjoy or feel the comforts. So now, in the example of air conditioner, the condition imposed is that you can enjoy air conditioner only in summers. You can't do it in winters. Similarly, example of food item, your body will allow to take only a limited amount of food item, no matter how much you like it. You cannot eat that unlimitedly. All right. Now, the next question here is that, okay, now we have discussed, comforts with the example of air conditioner. So you are facing some trouble and then you have devised certain mechanisms to make you comfortable, to feel better. So those amenities or those means are comforts. Now, if you look at the condition of living beings in current scenario, specifically when we talk about this human beings, what we are doing? We are exploiting the mother nature. Okay. Even for comforts, there is exploitation. Even when we are devising means for comfort, then also we are actually exploiting the mother nature. But when this exploitation exceeds unreasonably, Then you connected with the term enjoyment. Okay. So when the exploitation is increasing unreasonably and you are not following moral principles, you are only concerned about your happiness, you are becoming selfish. You are not bothered about the nature, you are not bothered about the fellow beings, you are not bothered about, now in fellow beings, not just human beings, but we are talking about everyone, every living entity and every non-living entity around us. Okay. So when you are just focused on your selfish interest, then it is enjoyment. You are trying to enjoy. Okay. You are trying to enjoy the resources that are given to you. All right. And you are focused only on your enjoyment. You are becoming selfish. This enjoyment and comforts, they are related with the body. All right. This enjoyment and comforts, they are related with the body. So comforts you are providing to the body. Similarly, enjoyment, anything that you enjoy here is connected with the body. Now the third aspect is happiness. Now happiness is different from enjoyment because happiness is felt from within. Okay. And happiness is the quality of the soul. And we are not this body, we are spirit souls. This we have already covered. I had shared one video with you and you all have gone through, right? And we, I think, covered in some previous session also that when I say my name, my body, my face, my eyes, my hand, that means I am different from this body, this face, this hand, right? I'm not this body, I'm not this face, I'm not this hand. Then who am I? If I'm not these entities, then who am I? I'm spirit soul. Okay. So comfort and enjoyment are related with the body, which is the outer covering of the soul. But I'm the soul. So happiness actually is the quality of the soul. So this happiness, which is felt from within, is actually felt at the soul level. And that is actually the happiness that everyone is looking for. Now, the confusion here is that we mistakenly consider comforts and enjoyments as happiness. But basically, comfort is what? Comfort is just reduction of suffering in this world. The means that we adopt to get rid of some suffering, that is actually comfort. That is not real happiness. And similarly, enjoyment that is felt through the senses, right? So that is also on the bodily platform. And that is the reason why we are not satisfied, because the comforts and enjoyment which we mistakenly, we take as happiness, actually they don't satisfy us because they are related with the outer covering of the soul. They are not related with our true identity. And our true identity is what? That we are spirit souls. So happiness is felt at the soul level. And what is the quality of this happiness? It does not perish. This happiness is everlasting and it stays and it grows. All right. It never goes down. It is ever increasing. Whereas when we talk about comforts or enjoyment, the graph goes up and down. We are happy, we are enjoying, and then it drops. We are not no longer happy with that specific thing. We want to look for something else for happiness. So-called happiness, actually it is enjoyment. Okay, so graph goes up and down. We get bored when we enjoy something. We get bored, then we switch over to something else to get enjoyment. So that means whatever things we are trying to enjoy, it is not everlasting, right? Because that is related with the body. So this way, you can differentiate also. If you like something but you see that you get bored with that specific thing, even if nowadays you can see so many people, so many children, even elders are addicted with the mobile, or lot of games. Youngsters, and children, they play a lot of computer games, mobile games, although they are very much addicted. But again, at some specific point of time they will get bored, then they will switch to some other game, right? So all these things, even the food that you're eating, you can apply in any domain. Whatever things you are experiencing through the body, through the sense organs in the body, those all experiences are temporary and you will not be satisfied. But whereas the true happiness, which is actually known as bliss, okay, bliss, one never get bored in those activities, which is providing you bliss. Okay. And this, the true way to this happiness is actually given in the Bhagavad-gita. All right. And now how do we achieve happiness? As you can see the image here, satisfaction, peace, happiness. So first step to happiness is satisfaction. Okay. And the next step is peace and then happiness. And we have discussed in the previous session also that when our mind is very much disturbed, so that means we are not at peace, we are not satisfied, we cannot be happy. So mind can only become calm through the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, which actually gives us the divine bliss. All right. There is a verse also text 39 of chapter 4, which we have mentioned here. So we'll take some time to memorize the verses also. Okay, we'll teach you to chant the verses in some, later classes. Let us first complete foundation, aspects. Now, last time we discussed that knowledge gives happiness and ignorance gives suffering, right? So when you have the knowledge, we talked about certain examples also. Anybody would like to share the example that we shared last week? I can give you a clue. Like if you are preparing for the exam, who will tell? So when you are preparing for the exam, if you do not take knowledge, then you will suffer. You will not be able to get good marks in the exam. But when you have taken the right knowledge related to the subject, then you will score good marks and you will be happy. Some food item, it is stale, but somewhere, you were ignorant about it. You eat that food item, you get stomach ache, you get some stomach infection, some problem. But if you were aware that this item is stale, then you wouldn't have eaten it and you wouldn't have been suffering. Business, if you are doing business with the wrong person, then you will suffer. And why you did that? Because you were ignorant of that specific person, that the person was maybe he was a cheater or he was fake, right? So every aspect you just apply this. And in the last session, we all agreed with this specific statement that knowledge gives happiness and ignorance gives suffering. And we also discussed that in the last 200, 300 years, knowledge has increased, but peace and happiness has decreased. People are not satisfied. They are not at peace. There is so much disturbance in the mind. People are not happy. And this is actually contradictory to this specific statement that knowledge gives happiness, ignorance gives suffering, right? So if so much, knowledge base has increased, we have so much advancement in science and technology, so many, new amenities for comforts, for enjoyment, but still, people are not happy. So this indicates that there is something missing, right? So there can be two aspects related to this. Either the knowledge that has enhanced in the last 200, 300 years, either that knowledge is not knowledge, or second aspect is there could be something missing, right? So we cannot say that the advancement over the period of 200, 300 years is not knowledge. We cannot say that, right? Because there is so much of technological advancement and the comforts have increased and so many, so many inventions of different things to make the life better, right? So we can't say that it is not knowledge. Definitely it is knowledge. So that means the first question here, is this knowledge not knowledge? So this is ruled out. Okay, now the second question, is this knowledge missing something? Yes. This is actually the basic reason why, in spite of so much advancement in science and technology, in amenities for comforts, enjoyment, people are not happy. People are disturbed. They are not satisfied. They are not at peace. Okay. Now, what is that knowledge? Okay, that we will try to understand. But before that, can you see a check here? So many zeros, right? In the dollars field, there are so many zeros here. The first one, can you see the first here? Does the first check has any value?
No, Mataji, because there are so many zeros, so zero has no value.
Yes, no value. But the second one, where we have put a 9,
Yes, Mataji, if we put a 9, it becomes a very big number 9000000 like this.
yes,
And it becomes like in
yeah, it becomes a, it carries a value.
A valuable number.
It carries a value, right? So now go back to the previous question that over a period of 200, 300 years, there has been so much advancement in science and technology, but people are not happy. So that means that advancement is like the first check, right? It's a big zero. Why? Because because people are not happy. Actually, why? What is the purpose of science and technology? What is the purpose? Tell me, what is the purpose of studying science, technology, doing so much inventions? आप स्कूल में पढ़ते हो, उसका पर्पस क्या है? Why do you go to school? Why do you take knowledge in school? What is the purpose? Tell me. Ara, why do you go to school?
We go to school for study.
But why do you study? Why do you take knowledge in school?
Because the knowledge. We have to get some knowledge.
Why? Why you have to take knowledge?
So we can develop more things.
Why you have to develop more things? Okay, Sadhya, why do you go to school?
Mataji, we go to school to learn new things and to study and to play with friends
So why do you
and
study? Why do you study? Why do you learn new things?
to take knowledge
Why do you take knowledge?
because it is necessary in our life.
Why it is necessary in your life? You can do without that also, can't you? You have got everything, all facilities. Why you have to go to school and take knowledge? Kayan
Mat-
Prabhuji. Okay, Sadhya, tell me. Anything you want to say?
No, Mataji.
Okay, Kayan Prabhuji.
We go to school because we need to take knowledge to get a job, to live, get money.
Okay. And what will you do when you get a job?
Um,
You will get money. What will you do with that money?
you buy. You buy things like food. You pay bills.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Ganesh Prabhuji. You're on mute, beta. Okay, Ganesh Prabhuji. Now unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
Why do you go to school? Why do you have to take knowledge? What is the purpose?
Ma'am, to earn money,
What will you do with that money?
ma'am, buy any something, and buy anything,
Okay, why will you buy anything? Why?
ma'am, for our needs.
For our needs. Okay. Arav Prabhuji, what do you want to say?
Mataji, for we go to school and study because for a better future.
Okay. How do you define better future?
By getting some good jobs and earn money for the families.
Okay. Sadhya.
Mataji, we study by earning money and taking a job so that we can uh, lead a happy life.
Okay. All right. So the keyword here. Now you connect everybody. You heard what Sadhya said. Okay. She used the specific word happy life. Right? So now you connect everything that you spoke. Like Arav said that to earn money and support the family, right? Or Kayan Prabhuji said to get food, to pay the bills, and Ganesh Prabhuji said to buy things of necessity. So, what is the underlying reason why you are doing these things? Why you are supporting the family, or why you are buying things, you are paying the bills, or getting necessities, getting the necessities of life? So, underlying point here is that to be happy. You understand? The underlying reason is by doing these things, you will be happy. Better future, you will be happy, right? Getting the necessities, you'll be happy. Getting a good package, you'll be happy. So you're targeting what? You're targeting happiness. Buying different things of comfort. When you have money, then only you can buy those things. So buying those things will also make you comfortable and happy. All right. So that means now you connected with the advancement of technology. What this scientists are doing when they are inventing new things, or when you have these or ministers or local leaders who are doing some efforts to make the life easier and comfortable for the people, right? The different inventions that science has made, that scientists have made, discovering new medicines. Like there was when there was COVID, there was so much trouble, but then scientists were working very hard to to invent vaccine so that COVID can be taken care of, right? Or if we talk about simple, this air conditioner that was invented for what? For giving you comfort in summers, right? Heater, geysers to give you comfort in the winters, motor car so that you go from one place to another in a lesser time. So that means what is the purpose? Now, what is the purpose of technology? The purpose of technology is to make life easier, comfortable, happy. Similarly, the purpose of taking knowledge. Why you go to school? Why you have to take knowledge? So ultimate purpose is what? To make your life better, to make your life more comfortable, so that you are happy. But the underlying principle here is happiness. Okay, so we are doing all these activities to ultimately get happiness. These are just different means towards the common goal of happiness. Okay, so now now coming back to this example here. So the current, state where there is lot of advancement of science and technology, but no happiness, is like this, that check on the left side with all zeros. Because ultimately, see, what are we trying to do with all these things? We are trying to attain happiness, but in reality, are we able to attain that happiness? No. We discussed this already, right? That in spite of so much advancement, people are not happy. So that means the current advancement that we are talking about is like a big zero. But when we put a valuable number in front of those zeros, then it carries a value, like on the right side check. So this non-zero number that we have put in front of zero, this is actually the missing link to real happiness. Okay? Just imagine that you are trying to climb up the mountain. Okay? But somewhere, there is some missing link in the rope which will take you to that mountain. Okay? You're trying to climb through a rope, but that rope is not leading you to the top of the mountain, but somewhere, there is some missing link and the rope is fixed somewhere in the halfway. Now, unless you complete that missing link, you won't be able to reach to the top. So similarly here also, that if you are focusing solely on the advancement of science and technology here, it will not serve the purpose, because it will not give you what you are looking for. Okay, so now we have to understand what is that missing link. So that missing link is spiritual knowledge. That is known as spiritual knowledge. That is the knowledge of the soul, knowledge of life. Currently, almost all the efforts are focused on the body and bodily needs. But we are not this body. We are spirit souls. So it is important to focus on the requirements of the spirit soul. But we are focusing only on the requirements of the body. All right? So do you all understand what we spoke today?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. One more slide I'll take, and then we'll focus on discussion aspect. All right? Can you see a very interesting image? Now just understand that we are spirit souls with human experience, because we have got this human body. All right? So whenever we talk about a personality, so there are different aspects of personality, right? Now in broad division, if we talk about the different aspects of personality, considering that we are spirit souls in human body. Okay, so two broad dimensions will be what? First, the personality related with the body, and second, the personality related with the soul, right? Personality related with the body. This is covered under material knowledge. We say material knowledge because we have done in the previous session that this body is made up of matter, earth, fire, water, what else?
And air.
Air, and what else? Sky or ether. Okay, Prithvi, Agni, Jal, Vayu, Akash, we say in Sanskrit. So, body is made up of the gross body that we can see. That is made up of these 5 tattvas, we say. Okay, 5 elements of matter. So, the knowledge which is related with the body is material knowledge. And the personality which is related with the body would be like, physical quotient. You have heard physical quotient, how physically fit you are. Okay, and then emotional quotient. Even, there is another covering which is next to this gross body. There are actually 2 coverings on the soul. The outer covering is the gross body, which is made up of these 5 elements that we talked about. Now, just inner to this, there is another body which is known as subtle body. Okay, subtle body. And it is made up of mind, intelligence, and false ego. Okay, we learn this later on for sure. So mind, the material mind that we talk about, this of the mind which is a part of subtle body. Now, when we consider the personality related to that, then a parameter you must have heard, emotional quotient. Okay, So how you are dealing with the situations around you, how your mind is, dealing with the situations around you. Intelligence quotient, how much intelligence you have, how much aware you are of different subject matters here. Financial quotient, okay, how sound you are financially, etc. So these are different, aspects, PQ, EQ, IQ. These aspects basically talk about everything related with the body. So, and this is covered under what? Material knowledge, the knowledge of the matter. So anything that is connected with the body is matter. Okay, so this is one half of the personality. Now, what is the other half of the personality? That is SQ, spiritual quotient. How much spiritually aware you are. Okay, and according to that, how are you carrying out your spiritual activities? How you are looking at the world around you? Are you looking at the world or people around you only from the material or bodily perspective? Or you have some spiritual understanding also about the people about the people about the world. So all this knowledge which is related with the soul is covered under the field of knowledge known as spiritual knowledge. Okay. So now the technological advancements that we spoke just in the previous slides is all related to the one half of the personality, that is material knowledge. But we are not this matter. We are spirit souls. Now, when we have neglected the spiritual knowledge, what we have done? We have actually ignored the second half, which is more important. We have ignored the second half of the personality, which is more important than the material half of the personality. So when the spiritual half is missing, then we will not be satisfied, we will not be at peace, and we will not be happy. Okay? So this is what is causing the trouble. So that means material knowledge has advanced. Very good. Okay? It's nice that we have made so much, advancement. That's absolutely fine. But because we have not developed the spiritual half of the personality, and that is why we are not happy with all this advancement. And now if we want real happiness, complete happiness, then we have to complete the spiritual half of the personality, and which we can do through spiritual knowledge. This spiritual knowledge is actually the missing link to real happiness. Okay, this spiritual knowledge is the missing link to real happiness. So when we take the spiritual knowledge along with the material knowledge, then we get complete knowledge and we attain complete personality, complete happiness. We complete the discussion for today. Now, if you have any questions or if you have not been able to understand anything, please let me know. Ara beta, you understood everything?
Yes, Mataji.
So what is the missing link to real happiness?
Spiritual and material knowledge.
What is the missing link to real happiness?
Spiritual knowledge, Mataji.
You understood? Material knowledge
Yes.
तो हम ले ही रहे हैं ना बेटा. Material advancement तो हो ही रही है ना? Spiritual
Yes.
knowledge is lacking. हाँ. Spiritual knowledge is lacking. So missing link to real happiness is spiritual knowledge. All right? Sadhya, you understood beta?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Any questions? No questions? Okay. Kayan Prabhuji,
Yes, Mataji.
did you understand everything that we spoke today?
Yes, Mataji.
Beta, you understood the difference between comforts, enjoyment, and real happiness, bliss?
Yes.
Okay. Are you convinced that there is a missing part of the personality which we should really focus on?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what the intent of these classes are. The missing part of the personality, okay, the spiritual half, we are going to cover through the knowledge of Bhagavad-gita. Okay. So intent of all these classes will be knowing ourselves, okay, knowing the purpose of our existence, right? The purpose of this creation, this world. Why we are put into this world. What is the purpose? What kind of activities we should perform? What kind of activities we should not perform? How to see the things from the spiritual perspective. Okay, all these things will be covered in these classes, and this will help us to complete our personality by taking the complete knowledge. Okay, adding the spiritual knowledge to the current material knowledge that we are already studying. All right. So do you all want to attain real happiness or you want flickering happiness?
Real
Yes,
happiness.
Yes, Mataji.
Real happiness, right? It should not flicker. That you're feeling happy, then the next moment you're not happy. Then again you switch over to something else, you are happy. Again you are unhappy. Situation should not be like this. The graph of happiness should always go on and on and on, right? It should not fall down. So that real happiness is described in the Bhagavad Gita. And when one get established in that state of happiness, then he does not deviate from that situation. Okay? So little bit, some foundation aspects we'll cover in next few classes. Then we'll formally begin the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Although all this is based on the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita only, but currently we are presenting it in a, um, in a format which will actually drive you or encourage you to take that knowledge. So currently our focus on all these topics is to convince you that yes, we must take the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, right? And when you are convinced, then it will be, you will feel interested also in the classes. And because unless you are convinced, then we go on telling you about on these spiritual topics, you may not be that much motivated to listen to that. So our current focus is to convince you. Okay, you understand the scenario around you and get convinced that yes, there is a problem going on with the world today, that because people are not focusing on spirituality, we are facing troubles, we are not happy, we are disturbed. So yes, I'm convinced that I must take spiritual knowledge, right? And once you are convinced, you are motivated, you will relish the nectar of Bhagavad Gita, that we promise you. All right, so now any final questions, or we close the session? No questions? Okay, Sadhya and Kayan, I tried to cover whatever we did in the previous two sessions, although I'm working on the recordings, but it will take some time. Meanwhile, based on today's class, I assure you that you have not missed anything as of now. Okay?
Okay, Mataji, thank you so much.
But whenever I get a chance to do the video editing, because my schedule is very, very tied up currently, I'll definitely share the recordings. Maybe by next week I'll try that we have the recordings in place. Okay?
Okay, Mataji, फिर मैं वीडियो भी सुन लूंगी.
हाँ, वीडियो जरूर सुनिएगा, because we have discussed these topics in detail in those videos. So go through the videos also for sure. But as of now, at least the flow, the flow of discussion I've covered in this session itself, so that when we study further, you are not left out. All right?
Okay, Mataji, thank you.
All right. Okay, so we close the session. Thank you, all of you. Take care. I would request all of you to say Hare Krishna and then leave the session. Okay? Say Hare Krishna.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.